Hey everyone, this is Rob,
And Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape. Alright, so this week up on the docket, of course, as always, we're going to be starting off with a little bit about us, what we've been doing this week, games we've been playing, and then we'll be going right into the updates because we actually have a lot of poll blogs to go into, not a lot of updates
Just a lot of
actually.
blogs in general.
Yeah, not a lot of actual updates, but there's a lot of stuff that they have been discussing.
Yes.
So we'll be going over all that news, including poll changes, Tomb of a Mascot rewards, combat achievement rewards. Actually, luckily, not a lot going on there. Just a few updates since then. And then we have future quests and more, which is the poll blog that actually came out on Wednesday.
Very excited about that.
And then actually, we're doing this a little bit late. So we're doing this on Thursday, which means, of course, we actually just caught a brand new poll blog. And this one's
Ayo.
actually pretty cool because it does pertain to the most recent Wilderness boss rework.
This happens every time that we record late. Is there's another blog post?
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that we recorded late because this blog post is really cool. And we'll be going over that as well as a few other things that I thought was pretty cool over on Reddit.
And then a Q&A.
Yes, we will be finishing off with a Q&A. But before we get into any of that, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. I don't think I got any skills up this week, but I've just been doing like chambers, like 1 to 2 raids a night, getting back into that.
Yeah,
I'm getting slightly better at it again.
slightly more gaming.
Yeah, I'm like 370 kills, and every time I mess up, I'm just like, this is actually the first time I've raided before. I've never used a computer.
Dang.
Because that's what it looks like at times,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did the charity thing last week. That was a lot of fun. I think total we raised like $26,000.
Yeah, and Annie was hosting a charity event
Yeah,
for
Rise Against the Disorder.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like it's rad.
That is pretty rad.
Yeah, that was really cool. So basically, I was streaming in the afternoon on 2 hours of sleep. So we'll blame that on my performance on that. But we had an hour in this world with like insane boosted like XP, potentially boosted drop rates, not sure on that. But yeah, we had an hour to do whatever to prepare, and then we were all hardcores, and it was just a series of challenges till there was one person left standing. Also unclear to me who won. I thought one person won, but then a second person just kind of like showed up at the end.
Yeah, ultimately
It was for charity, so it
didn't
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and also the prize was a picture of a cat, apparently.
So I wish I won.
Yeah.
But I got it on the first round. I didn't even die. We just all had to meet in the Artie Market and then go to the wilderness, run an agility lap, and then make it back to Artie Market within 15 minutes. And I had like no law runes, so I just didn't make it back in time. But some other people were like getting PK'd and stuff, so.
That's the hard life of an Iron Man.
Yeah. I didn't lose my hardcore at all until the end. I was just following everyone around, like slashing them with my little hunting knife because I didn't know what else to do.
Or like pretend slashing them.
Pretend slashing. You can't actually slash them.
Yeah.
and at the end, it was like a free for all in the wilderness, basically, till one person was left standing, and I was trying to attack people, and I got killed by Radish Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, who also had a whip and the Chaos Elemental pet.
Yeah, they
It was
used
insane.
some interesting tactics. A lot of people were giving him like crap about that, but I mean, it was just one.
There's no real rules.
Yeah, one, it was all for fun, and two, it was kind of a unique way to go about it. So
Yeah, so the way that worked, we could have gone on these worlds before, but every time that you hop or log out, it resets your stats. And
Yeah.
apparently, from what I heard, he dropped some stuff on the ground and then relogged and was able to get himself a whip that he had before.
yeah,
Which is pretty smart. Like, I would have never thought to do that.
yeah,
So,
and everyone said it was allowed. So, or everyone that mattered.
Hineni.
Yeah.
The one person that mattered here. I think she really didn't care. Every time someone asked something, she was like, sure.
Yeah, probably because they knew that it was just for fun.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed doing that, and hopefully, could do more charity stuff in the future. That'd be cool. We could organize our own sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think total myself, we only made like $25, including $5 for me, but still.
Yeah, better than zero.
Yeah, exactly. And I also just crashed somebody woodcutting. I didn't see that they were here.
Wow,
Whoops.
that's pretty embarrassing.
They literally ran away. Yikes. Other than that, so I did a couple of cosplays this week, actually. I did my goblin cosplay.
Yeah.
which potentially maybe we'll put a picture on YouTube.
I mean, potentially.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
It really doesn't look too much different than normal, so.
The goblin? Oh, yeah, it was a joke. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
I
because
was
you're
green.
you're a goblin.
I'm a goblin. It was the Xanax cosplay. Robert drew the symbol in my head. You actually did a very good job drawing that symbol, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That was fun. I was wearing green makeup for 8 hours, which is kind of insane that I was able to do that.
Yeah, our sink is still slightly discolored.
Yeah, I need to bleach that. But yeah, I'm proud of myself for it because the other day I also did a Marin for my Dress Up Darling cosplay, and I wore that wig for like an hour, and my head hurt so bad I had to take it off.
Yeah.
And then after like 2.5 hours, I just took off the whole outfit.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, so I'm like, the fact that I was able to do the goblin the whole stream is amazing. And then on Halloween, I was going to do Yor from Spy Family, like a cosplay, because that's something I have to do. Like, it was a sub goal that we reached a while ago, and I will still do it. But it was the day after my headache from Marin, so I ended up just dressing up as a scarecrow. It was just putting on makeup. It was easy.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty Halloween.
Yeah, it was very Halloween, because I could be Yor any day of the week, any day of the year, and it's a cosplay.
Yeah.
If I'm a scarecrow, it's kind of random.
Yeah.
It feels more Halloween
it's
than
more
cosplay.
random.
Costumes and cosplays are different. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's been a very fun week. I've been also playing a lot of Resident Evil, and I'm playing Resident Evil 4, and I'm 24 hours into it, and apparently not even close to being done.
Yeah.
I don't
Apparently
know.
it's the longest game ever made.
Yeah, I don't know if someone was messing with me, but last night they were like, "Yeah, I think you're over halfway now," and I was like, "What?" Because I thought I was gonna be done with it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And then last night I literally named the stream "Tonight is the Night" because I was like, I'm gonna finish it.
Nope.
Did not.
It was not the night.
It was not the night.
It also doesn't help that Michelle does play single player games very slow.
I play very safely.
Very slow.
I'm like, I get them to, so there's basically a bunch of like infected like zombies low key, and I basically run to get their attention, and then I go and what's it called, corner camping or whatever.
Yeah, you could
So
just
they
say
all-
you kill them as slow as possible.
No, I kill them one at a time as they come to me to stay safer, so I could keep more food.
Yeah. Tomato.
Tomato. But yeah, I am really, really enjoying playing Resident Evil. I just want to be done with this one because there's so many Resident Evil games, and I'm like, what the heck? But I've heard that this is like one of the longest ones.
Yeah, I definitely hope so.
Yeah,
'Cause
if they're all this long,
that would suck.
yeah, that would take me months to play even one, I feel like. Because the reason I've been playing so much is I thought I was almost done, so I've just been like playing it. I think 3 different streams tonight. I streamed 10 to 12 hours.
3 different streams tonight.
3 different streams this week. I'm still clearly tired. I streamed 10 hours twice and then 12 hours once because I was just staying up playing Resident Evil. It was weird. I was awake when Robert was getting home from work 3 days in a row. But now that I know that I'm not almost at the end, I don't think I'm going to be staying up as late anymore.
Yeah,
It's just
probably a
because
good idea.
It's just because I kept thinking I was almost done. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay up and finish it. And I never did. So now I'm probably going to go back to mostly playing RuneScape and just playing that for like a few hours after a while rather than like playing it for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not close to being done, no. It is so much fun though. I am really enjoying it, which sucks because definitely less people watch it than RuneScape. But
Oh, yeah.
whatever. It's funny how many people from the Resident Evil like community come and stop by though. And they're just like, is it your first playthrough? Like, I've played this 100 times. And I'm like, what the heck? That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably not a lot of streamers that stream it, so.
There was actually quite a few people playing Resident Evil 4 whenever I went to raid somebody. I raided somebody playing it.
Yeah.
Somebody who has the same headset as me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think I've only been playing basically those 2 games and then like Animal Crossing, but not much updates there. Just getting pictures, you know, the usual.
Yeah, usual crossing animals.
Exactly. Played some Phasmo, but nothing too crazy there. And I think that's it. We also went to Disneyland a few days before Halloween, which is nice. So we got to experience the Halloween vibes without live streaming it this time.
Yeah, it was
That
fun.
was so much fun.
Disneyland's always fun.
Disneyland is always fun, but now it's Christmas, so we'll probably go celebrate Christmas there shortly.
Yeah, Christmas is
7
also
times.
fun.
Yes.
Probably more fun, but
I've decided I like Christmas more than Halloween. It was a close call, but I like the cozy vibes.
dang. I wonder if like we asked like what everyone thought was more fun, Christmas or Halloween.
I think Halloween's more fun, but I like the Christmas vibes more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like Christmas more on both accounts.
I think I don't know. See, I'm so torn now. Now I'm torn again.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, how have you been?
Pretty good. I have been playing a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch here and there.
Gamer.
Overwatch 2 obviously Overwatch 1 is dead, so I
Obviously.
cannot be meaning that. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. They made some changes that made it more fun, so that's cool. And I've just been playing with my friends. But
Nice.
besides that, there's a couple games that I've kind of been like having my eye on because they look really fun. And one I actually just found out yesterday, and it's called there's two of them. One's called Dome Keeper, and these are like little like progression like games, so they're actually like really fun. Like really small cheap games, but
Nice.
they're like really well done. So Dome Keeper's really cool. It's like you like get resources and then defend against like waves of enemies, which is pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
And then there's another game that I think you would really like, and this is one I saw yesterday. It's called I don't remember the whole name, but it's on Steam and it's called Dave. Like the main thing is Dave, and he's like a fisherman, and he fishes for a sushi place.
That sounds cute.
Yeah, and you like upgrade your scuba gear and like your harpoons and stuff, and then you like go and fight sharks or whatever, and then
That sounds fun.
you can like upgrade your kitchen staff to like sell like sushi better and stuff like that.
I
So
love games like that where you just keep progressing them over and over.
yeah,
Reminds me of the Capybara Spa hot spring one that I played.
yeah, but these ones are like really well done. So I
That's
think
awesome.
yeah, if you are looking to take a break from OSRS, you can check out one of those two games on Steam.
And if you try them out, let us know which one's better.
Yeah. But yeah, not too much else besides that. Just been playing a little bit of games here and there and studying like normal. So
Yeah.
we can get into what we wanted to talk about this week, starting off with the polling changes.
One thing also real quick, our Amsterdam trip is coming up. If you have any suggestions of what we should do, let us know.
Yeah, and also be known that we will probably not be talking about the update for that week. So
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do. We might just do like a queue up an episode talking about other stuff.
yeah,
Or maybe
maybe
we'll just skip a week. Who knows?
we'll skip a week, or maybe we'll do the podcast from Europe. Who knows?
Just with like my phone's microphone.
I mean, potentially. Either way, though, we can roll right into the polling changes blog. This blog did come out on the 27th of October, so it's been a little while now, but I do not think we covered it. So
We definitely didn't.
this one is going to be talking about polling, of course. It says, we've been using polls to keep players like you in control of the game's updates ever since old school RuneScape's launch back in 2013. They're a core part of what keeps old school, and a unique offering from a living MMO like ours. Polling lets players get right into the decision-making process and allows your voices to be heard. This approach puts us at the forefront of community-driven games. I think that's pretty much not incorrect. I don't really know any other game that is this community-driven, but
Big true.
I also don't know.
I don't
if
play any
that's-
games like that.
Yeah, I also don't know if that's always the best though, but we'll continue. However, we're aware that the polling system has its downsides. It is at times unable to fully support both the studio and our players. It means the development team have limited flexibility around the content they produce. Niche communities often see their content fail, and since fewer than 6% of active members actually vote in polls, the results don't completely reflect the community's real views. Additionally, the amount
Let's
of
just get rid of the polling of that statement.
Additionally, the amount of detail that goes into polls can sometimes diminish the sense of excitement when new updates arrive. Yeah, that kind of makes it kind of sad that maybe that's just how many bots there are in the game.
I don't know. I think also I don't know a lot of people who even vote in the polls.
Yeah,
Every time I go and vote for the polls in stream, everyone's like, "Oh, you actually vote in the polls."
I don't vote every poll, that's for sure.
There's no way that 99.404% of
No, it's 94%.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 0.6.
No,
There's no way that 94% of active members are all bots.
I know.
Like, it's just obvious.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Oh my god, okay, I'm tired.
Either way, they say that our aim is simple: make old school the best game it can be for all existing communities and potentially new ones. It's therefore essential we get the polls right. So while there will remain a permanent part of old school RuneScape, today we're announcing a slew of improvements to the system, quote unquote. Our goals are to ensure that polling feels exciting and empowering. surprise and delight our players with impromptu and opportunistic content, be able to pull content much earlier in the design process, build community consensus rather than sowing division.
I don't know how they're gonna do
Yeah, good
that.
luck with that. Provide greater flexibility to create more detailed plans. And finally, create additional flexibility around smaller changes. So they go through quite a few of player power stuff. And instead of starting polling concepts, they want to, if it passes, we know that we won't be wasting the time working on it. So this also means that they'll be able to work closely with you to finalize details that you care about.
I think this is really nice because as it is now, they basically design everything, have it all ready to go, and then it could get rejected.
Yeah, it's really lame. They even say that the current process means they're typically halfway through development whenever they start polling stuff. This leaves very little wiggle room for feedback, and
Hmm.
they also have to hit deadlines, and there's expectations to meet. So it's
And
a
it could all get scrapped.
yeah, it's a really toxic system right now. I don't know why they've chosen to put themselves in this position because it kind of would seem that you would do this, like this would be the way it would be done since
Hmm.
always like you would pull the idea and then start the idea. But
Yeah,
right,
their new game plan sounds good.
yeah, but currently the way it is, like they said, is they kind of just pull it as they are halfway or nearly done, and then sometimes people don't like it and they just waste their time.
Yeah. So this way, we'll vote before before they waste time.
Yeah. So they go on to say that initially they pulled the raid Tomb of a Mascot back in January 2022 with no rewards
This is
attached.
just an example
Y-
of how they used to do it.
yeah, this is an example of
Okay.
what the polling system. This is kind of how they wanted to do it, and this is how they did it for TOA.
Okay.
They simply shared the vision for the content and told you how they plan to go about it. For example, the poll question was should they add Tomb of a Mascot to the game as described in the blog? If it passes, then the rewards will be pulled at a later date. It was only after we got your seal of approval that they started developing the raid proper. This gave us a healthy amount of time to discuss and design the rewards. How's that any different from the new polling process we're proposing? Well, we want to get your green light even earlier in the process. This ensures that they can commit to a roadmap that serves old school RuneScape in the best way possible. So this is definitely an improvement of what they've done in the past. I'm looking at the the what
Like
was it,
GIM was a scary one. Everyone thought it was gonna fail.
GIM, night at the theater. I
Mm.
think all of those were pulled within like the week or two that they were getting released,
Most updates, it
which
seems
is
like.
crazy. But yeah, this was done much better, where it was done way beforehand, and they're saying they want to do it even more beforehand, even before they even come up with the idea, essentially.
It also built some hype for it too, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And another example poll question is should a new raid aimed at groups 1 to 8 players be added to the game? So this would be the question that they would pose instead of the TOA question. So they just
Okay.
want to know if people would want a new raid, which I don't know how that wouldn't pass. But maybe if they do like 5 raids in a row, people are like sick of it.
That's true, because they'd already like named the raid and everything by the
Yeah.
time that they posted it last
So this
time.
is just way more ambiguous and seeing if people even want a new raid. Um,
That's smart.
that would be of this size between 1 to 8 players. And so they're saying that their goal is to reduce the amount of dev time spent on projects that haven't been pulled yet. This disrupts our planning and scheduling. We also believe that the pulling high level designs will give the team more freedom to flex their creative muscles. Another thing they wanted to address is they think that new content should feel like a fun surprise rather than being completely figured out before it's even released.
Fair.
But the biggest benefit is that the new approach will let us bring you closer to the design process than ever before. And lastly, they reckon that this approach will save huge amounts of time by discovering right away whether the offering is something that you're interested in or not.
Cool. I
Yeah,
think it sounds like a good idea.
yeah, so it sounds way better than before, that is for sure. And then they also are establishing a fixed polling charter. So this is just essentially saying what they will and won't be polling in the future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think if anyone's been listening to the podcast for any time, they know that I kind of think polling is a fairly deprecated process and should mostly be replaced, which does seem kind of like what they're moving towards with this new polling process.
Okay.
So they go over what they will be polling, which will include high-level designs and concepts for new content. Overall, the aim of the content, such as a new raid encounter, new skills, featuring various bosses and challenges, certain key mechanics and features, and also it'll likely have estimated XP rates, and finally, new quest concepts, as well as prerequisites and stuff like that. They'll also be pulling new rewards, so impactful rewards will be pulled once the content has been passed.
The content that they relate to.
Yes, exactly.
So, like, they wouldn't pull Missouri at the same time that they're asking, do you even want to raid?
No, exactly. It'll be more like how they did for TOA, where it'll be the content first,
cool.
And then they'll do the rewards later on.
Yeah.
The level of detail will be in line with what we currently offer, including information like DPS graphs and concept images.
Hate the DPS graphs.
Yeah.
I really hate the graphs for some reason.
Yeah, we'll see more why the graphs suck this week. And then
I'm excited to talk about that next.
Finally, they'll also be polling new areas, content, expansions, reworks, as well as changes that will significantly impact the existing meta or XP rates.
Okay.
Things they're not going to be polling, which is a much more extensive list, is going to be things like game modes, including leagues and Deadman. Kind of a little bit of a spoiler or a thing that someone asked Mod Ash recently is what they think the next league is going to be. And Mod Ash did say, it's unconfirmed, but Mod Ash did say that it is likely it's going to be a replay or a rehashing of Trailblazer League. Because people
really liked it?
He says his justification is people liked it and not many people got to play it.
I didn't get to play it. I think I played like a day.
Yeah, we played like a day.
And we were like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's besides the point, but yeah, just so you know.
That's something we were going to go over later.
Yeah. So other stuff they won't be including in the polls are going to be events for holidays. So temporary events like Christmas, Easter, Halloween, other temporary events.
They've never pulled.
Asset visuals for item rewards and stuff like that. Unless, of course, I think like a good exception would be like the new Wilderness boss reworked stuff, the bow that looked like a twisted bow.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I feel like they probably won't pull it, but they still ask for feedback.
Yeah, they won't pull it, but yeah, exactly. They'll still ask for feedback. Bug fixes, of course, small quality of life enhancements, such as toggleable wiki orbs, stuff like that.
Moving trees.
Settings.
They did just pull moving a tree, huh? That was very unnecessary. Or they're going to.
It says moving a tree or plant that obstructs pathing for no reason.
Yeah, no reason to pull that.
Yes, that's stuff that they will not be pulling.
You know, people were voting no on that as well.
Certainly. Future changes to the polling system. So that is all the stuff they won't be polling is everything I just listed.
Cool. Plus more that we did not get into. There's a lot.
Plus more, yes. Some more future changes to the polling system includes it needing to be flexible so that they can alter it to remain current with the community's needs, much as they're doing now. We'll always discuss which changes we intend to make and why. So integrity and balancing changes, the aim with changes like these is to protect old school RuneScape. Keeping the game fun and fair for its players realistically, that's something, or sometimes means doing things that wouldn't get majority support in a poll, such as stopping a feature from giving rewards that are grossly disproportionate to what was intended, removing a safe spot that wasn't intended, or redesigning or providing warnings for content that is being used in unintended ways. So I think a lot of this stuff would be like, all the safe spots that randomly existed in the crocodile room
we're in Baba's room that
TOA.
first day. Too good.
Exactly. So all that stuff, those are balancing changes that just will not be needed until it get pulled.
And if that was pulled, you could bet I would have said keep that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, new player experience stuff will not be pulled. So
that's a good idea because, like, how can we as experienced players really decide?
Yeah, these are just more overarching things that aren't going to be pulled, including pricing changes to both membership and bonds will not be pulled. Accessibility and diversity changes and smaller changes.
I like that one because what they mean is all the homophobes and stuff.
Yeah. Smaller changes including spam filters and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that is a pretty extensive list of
Mm-hmm.
stuff that will not be pulled.
A huge list.
But I mean, for the most part, I do agree that most of that stuff doesn't really need to be pulled.
Only thing that I care about is the membership prices because I know that they are a super rich company and there's no reason to make it even more expensive.
Yeah, I think someone showed their gross profit. I don't know about gross profit or just profit in general, but they made over $108 million this year.
They're doing fine.
Um, Either way, though, reducing the number of votes required. So this
This is
is
huge.
probably the biggest change to the polling system out of all of this is they reduced the polling percent chance in order to have a pass, which is normally 75%, down to 70%.
Surprised they didn't just do 50-50.
Yeah, I think they wanted a larger majority, so they
They
kept
wanted
it
to
at
say, well, it was more than half.
They kept it at a pretty high percent, 70%. They did say that with a 75% pass rate, it only takes about 1.5% of all active members voting no to stop a piece of content. So they wanted to make things more viable to pass. And I thought that was really, this is a really good idea. And I thought it was cool because someone actually came up with an entire list of things that would have passed if it was 70%.
Want to
And
go
it,
over some of them?
yeah, I was going to go over some of the more interesting ones. So the number one that would have passed would have been you're able to use your special attack orb in PvP areas.
That was so close. It was 74.6%. That was one of the most recent ones.
Yeah, or another really good one that we were pretty upset about was adding all of the ornament kits to the PvP arena,
Yeah.
aka the arena that has no reward potential.
Yep.
That failed with 73.8%. So really unfortunate. Adding the Ring of Elements to free to play also
74.8%.
failed by
dude.
0.2%. Very unfortunate. A lot of this stuff obviously does have to deal with PvP worlds, so
Yeah.
kind of funny. This one is changing the Jar of Darkness drop rate from 2,500 to 500.
Which they've now changed to 1 at 250.
Yes,
Thank
which
God.
they now have changed. So
Just took years.
that's how much they thought it was a good idea. They pulled it multiple. There's actually a few in here they pulled multiple times.
Yeah, because they were like,
Um,
"Are you guys sure?"
There's a few questions pertaining to this, but there's should players get a unlockable shortcut after Underground Pass? So it'll allow you to just go through Underground Pass.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that there's not.
Yeah, exactly. So there's actually a few questions
Yeah, there's
about
multiple of that, and they were all so close, but not quite there.
Yeah, there's a really cool. I thought this was really cool, but this was a it failed with 70.5%. This is adding a special attack to Saldor's blade, which of course is the
Oh.
crystal blade, and it costs 100% energy, would have done 50% more damage, and it would have actually taken 8 ticks for you to do, so it would have doubled your attack or doubled the slowness of your attack speed, but it would have also knocked back and stunned enemy players or NPCs that were one tile.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that would have been really cool. Adding a new ferocious ring, and there's a lot for Theater of Blood and for potions that would have been like really cool combination potions.
Yeah.
So there would have been the super prayer potion, which would have been a prayer potion that also gave you prayer over time as well. Like would have given you 6 extra prayer points over 30 seconds at a rate of 1 per 5 seconds. So it would have slowly ticked up your prayer, which would have been pretty cool. There's also other potions that would have combined all of the combat styles. So it would have been a totality potion where it would have given you range, mage, as well as all of the super combat effects.
They better repull all of this.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how they'll do it because obviously all the stuff would have passed, but
And there's
didn't.
probably way more stuff that people did not include in this picture they put together as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Probably like hundreds.
there's really cool questions like this other one where it's like, should they add Elder Armor, Twisted Armor, and Kodai robes as a reward from raids?
So cool.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I mean,
you
sounds pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of the stuff was really interesting. Also, there was a really funny question. I thought this was hilarious. It said, should it be possible to purchase RuneFest tickets, accommodation, and transport using bonds?
Yes.
Imagine how many bonds. It's like
One bond, right?
redeem 1,500 bonds for your flight to RuneFest.
I don't know how that would work, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been cool, but also kind of, I don't know. also kind of lame because like obviously a lot of people exploit in the game. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that one's interesting. I feel like they probably won't pull that again.
No, I think that was like that's a really weird pull.
It's probably an old one.
Yeah, for sure. But besides that, it also includes stuff like getting the taunt animation, just like funny stuff like that. But
Cute.
or I think this was also really
People voted
cool.
no to just an emote.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And that would have been purchasable from LMS. And the final thing that I thought was really interesting to say the least, and probably actually really cool, is you could have been able to buy multiple rune pouches and multiple looting bags, and they would have all connected to the same loot pool. For example, like if you die at Vorkath and wanted your runes to get back to get your gear, then you could just take another.
Room pouch.
Yeah, you could take another rune pouch out of your bank and then use the teleports
So
from that.
presumably this you wouldn't be able to use multiple at the same time. But it would be cool to be like, this is my barrage pack, this is my teleport pack.
That would have been
I
cool.
hate having to switch my runes out after everything I do. It actually
I
annoys
wish-
me to no end.
I wish that they would have added this so that whenever you die, you can just re-pick up your like runes and stuff like that, but also add something for what you just said, where like maybe they could have rune presets,
Yeah.
kind of how they have presets for TOA.
Yeah, I should tweet them at that.
Yeah,
Even if it's not another pouch, just somehow at presets, because it is really annoying having to go and switch your runes over and over and be like, what do I bring for this one again?
yeah,
And you know how often I bring the wrong runes and I get into a raid and I'm like, I don't have humidify.
yeah. Or you're on the wrong spellbook. I feel like that happens
Yes,
too.
that happens a lot too.
Yeah,
That's a different issue.
but either way, I thought there was a lot of really cool stuff that would have passed. I hope they maybe don't repull all of it, but at least some of the ones that were by failing by like 0.5% or something.
Yeah, they
like
don't have
that.
to automatically pass it, just repull a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it would have passed, but I feel like it would have been really close. Was warding the old skill that got pulled?
I want them to repull a skill.
I think it would have been really close. Either way, though, restricted voting. Of course, we know how restricted voting works, and that is going to be it for this blog. It was pretty long, but obviously pretty important as far as the percentage of votes and all the clarifications with that. So
Yeah, you thought that was long. Oh boy, let's get into this next one.
yeah,
I'm excited. You guys ready for Math with Michelle?
math with Michelle. Luckily, I'll be here for adult supervision.
Yeah, because the last time you did math, it went very well as well.
It was right at the end of the day.
Mandy's comment, making like he lost all credibility.
It was right at the end of the day. It's fine.
The journey there doesn't matter. So, I'm going to be talking to you all about the Tombs of Amasket drop mechanics and Osmunton's Fang. Which, if you didn't hear, spoiler, big nerf.
Okay, let's calm down. It wasn't a big nerf.
Biggest nerf that's ever existed.
I'm almost certain it's still the best in slot at almost everywhere melee.
It's actually, they made it equal to a rune scimitar.
Wow.
So, together, you've completed TOA around 4.5 million times since its launch in August, which means we now have the data to address a pair of red-hot topics, starting with the Fang. This wiggly sword saw a handful of iterations between its first appearance back in May and its awesome final form. In the initial blog, we said the Fang would double roll in accuracy, and there were only a few mobs this weapon would especially excel against. Our top investigators on the case, and we reckon we've figured out what's going on here. To explain, we need to talk about combat accuracy, so it'll be like numbers.
Or you can just skip
I'm
all
definitely
of this.
skipping a lot of this. So basically, skipping parts, going through this a little bit though. When a player attacks an NPC, it rolls an accuracy roll based on factors like the attack level, etc., and the game picks a value at random between 0 and your maximum roll. The resulting value is the accuracy roll of that attack. So the game then performs a defense roll for an NPC as well. Different NPCs have different defense levels and style-specific defensive stats that factor into the maximum value of this roll, but ultimately the game picks a random number once again. The player's accuracy roll is higher than the NPC's defensive roll the player hits. Otherwise, they miss, and their only reward is the cool blue 0 hit splat. It's kind of, whenever I was reading this for the first time, I was like, oh, it's like D&D.
Yeah. I feel like you'd think after all this time, all these years, they'd make like a less convoluted attack and defense scoring system.
No, just rolling a D20.
Because they're all like, all right, cool. This character has 30,000 defense. Like,
You just rolled 31,000.
yeah, it's like, that's actually really. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's actually really low. But you wouldn't ever guess that unless you knew some enemies have like 80,000 defense and stuff like that.
Yeah. So they go over talking to why the Fang was accidentally overpowered. When we initially wrote that the Fang would double roll in accuracy, our balancing was based on the idea that the accuracy roll would be performed twice and take the highest roll as the value for the attack. But they did it wrong. For all intents and purposes, the Fang has been bugged since release. Rather than just re-rolling the player's accuracy roll, the Fang is in fact re-rolling both components of an attack. So it's rolling both accuracy and the monster's defense. And if it fails, it rolls both attack and defense again.
Yeah. I'm also I understand what they're saying, but I'm also confused because I'm not taking sides either way, but I have seen a ton of people saying that this math is actually correct and this was how it was pulled originally in the original pull blog for the weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're saying that this was a bug, but it's actually how it was proposed.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking sides either way because I don't really care to do the math, but
Yeah, I'm not going to get into all the math. I'm just going to read a little bit of the math for you guys.
But yeah, some people say that this is how it should have worked and that they're just nerfing it and calling it a fix. But either way, it's getting nerfed.
We'll never know.
Yeah, I won't know, but obviously you can do your own research.
So there's a little bit of an example. It says if an NPC's defensive roll was, for example, 10,000 and your accuracy roll is 8,000, the Fang would go ahead and re-roll both these values. So if the NPC then rolled 4,000 and you rolled 6,000, the attack would be considered a hit. So it might not seem like a big deal on the surface, but it does have drastic effects on the accuracy over time. And that's when they get super, super mathy, and I'm not going to go into that. But
so to make it as easy and simple as possible, we'll use this example. So for an NPC whose effective defense was 30,000, with a weapon whose effective accuracy was 35,000, the standard chance to hit was 57%. With the old Fang, it would actually be 81% chance to hit.
Old Fang as in last week's Fang.
Yes. But with the new Fang, the nerfed Fang,
What's it's intended to be.
It's 76%. So that's a 5% nerf.
Yeah, which adds up, of course.
Which, of course, does add up. But yeah, it would be a nerf either way, but that's just an easy representation of how much it's getting nerfed by.
Mm-hmm. So what does this all mean? The big concern, you all have the Fangs, that's a great weapon for almost every piece of content in the game, and it's not really rare enough to justify that kind of power. One of our key learnings from the Equipment Rebalance project is that if an item isn't in a healthy spot and risks impacting future ward space, the best time to step in is now, not 4 years from now, like the blowpipe.
Yes.
With this in mind, we'll be fixing the bug in the Fang's behavior. From Halloween, it will reroll the player's accuracy, but not the monster's defense, so this has already been incorporated. This will mean that weapons like the Scythe, the Dragonair Lance, the Inquisitor's Mace, and so on will reclaim their rightful place at the top of the best in slot list, which is a good thing that I just sold my DHL.
Yeah, how much did you sell it for?
Not enough.
Yeah, so there was
like 40 mil.
That's still decent. There was a picture of someone that bought like 28 Dragonair Lances for 36 mil and sold them all back for like 50 the next week and made 200 mil.
Jeez. So, I mean, yeah, I lost some value, but I'm never really pay attention to the bank value stuff. And I plan on keeping the Fang anyway.
Also, I mean, the Lance is good, but it's super niche, and you probably aren't killing dragons super often. And it's not.
It is really nice for raids, which is the main thing I've been into, though.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's not like a crazy difference. Like, I'm sure maybe the Dragonair Lance will be better, but it's not going to be like woefully better as, compared to the rapier and the lance, for example.
Yeah. And nobody worry, I still have like 100 and something mil cash stack.
It's not that expensive.
I like having extra money because I still do want to get the scythe sometime.
It's not how it used to be where the lance was like 100 mil.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to be keeping a close eye on the Fang's performance in the coming weeks, and they'll remain open to further changes if the balance isn't quite right. Now, moving on to the TOA drop mechanics. More numbers, you guys. So I'm going to, whenever I get down to it, just so you all know, I'm only going to be reading a few of the examples, and I'll read it word for word.
Yeah,
and so you can understand what they said.
If you want a TLDR for the drops, it's pretty much almost exactly how it is for Chambers of Xeric, and just die less, and you'll have a better chance of getting gear.
Actually, yeah. So, you've been after some more detailed information about how drops work inside TOA, and while crowdsourced efforts at places like the OSRS Wiki give a pretty good overview, we'd like to do a more complete rundown. So the mechanics are pretty complex and don't allow us to make simple statements about the drop rate of any given item at any given raid level, especially with systems like path leveling at play. So we're going to go into this point system real quick. So this is what Robert was saying is very close to Chambers of Xeric. Tombs of Mask has a similar system with a handful of differences, so let's break it down. The game keeps tracks of players' total accumulated points throughout the raid, as well as their accumulated points in the current room. So inside any given room, you accumulate room points. Whenever a room is completed, your room points will be transferred to your total points. Simple so far. These two terms outlined will explain how both room and total points are gained and lost. So whenever you first enter a raid, you start with 5,000 points. Room points are awarded per damage dealt to every NPC in the raid. So for most NPCs, 1 damage dealt equals 1 room point. Some NPCs give bonus points, while some NPCs give no points, which they kind of go over like which ones give more or less. I'm not going to go over this whole list.
Yeah, it's already confusing.
Yeah, we're going to link this. I don't want to get too into talking about the numbers because I know it sucks listening to people talk about that.
Yeah. And like I said, keep in mind, do more damage, get hit less, and don't die.
Yeah. So this should be noted that you can't get more than 20,000 room points as an individual in a single room. If you score the most room points in your party for a room, you'll be given an MVP bonus of 300 times group size to your total points upon completion. So if there's 2 of you guys, you'll get an extra 600 points. Death subtracts 20% from your total points with a minimum of 1,000 points. You cannot accumulate more than 64,000 total points as an individual in the entire raid, which seems weird that they would max how much you can make total, but okay.
Yeah.
You must have at least 1,500 total points to be eligible for rewards. Otherwise, you get some dung. Which, I'm glad that they're explaining this, because everyone who's getting dung, they're like, how is this even decided?
Yeah, they just didn't do damage.
Yeah.
Essentially, you only
or they did do damage and they just died, so they're like, but I did do damage.
Yeah, essentially, you only get dung if you die a lot and or get carried.
Yeah. So they also give some more examples, which I'm not going to go over because we're going to link to this for everyone to read. I feel like this stuff is easier to just read yourself.
Yeah, there's hundreds of numbers on this page.
It sucks. So that's how the points work. How do they interact with drops? Points are converted into a drop percentage in various ways. So basically, points are converted into drop percentage. So around 10,500 points equates to 1% base unique drop chance, and 350,000 points equates to a 1% base pet drop chance. So an example would be in a 0 raid level completion where the player has a convenient 10,500 points. 10,500 total points with no raid level means there's no drop modifier value. In other words, the base chance of rolling unique is 1% or 1 out of 100. The player rolls on the unique table has a 1 out of 24 chance of being assigned the shadow. Cumulative odds equal 1 out of 2,400. That adds up so fast.
Well, yeah, and that's raid level 0. So
it's very rare.
They even say that getting anything other than the Fang in the ring at level 0 is really rare.
Yeah. Since the raid level 0, the player must pass a 1 out of 50 to roll to ignore the raid level restriction on the shadow. So the cumulative odds are now 1 out of 120,000. There's a 1 out of 120,000 chance for the player to receive a shadow from a 0 raid level TOA run, assuming that you have 10,500 total points. People were getting the shadow on the first day in 0. Yeah. It is so rare.
Yeah.
That is so rare. It's kind of crazy.
It is rare. It is one of the rarest drops in the game at 0.
Yeah, literally. So going into the weighting of all the drops, for Lightbearer and Fang, we're at 7. The Ward is at 3. All the Missouri pieces are at 2. The Shadow is at 1. So the total weighting for all the drops is 24.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't know how weighting works, the higher the number, the more likely it is to drop.
Yep.
So the Tumakin Shadow has the lowest rate to drop, and the Fang and the Ring have the highest.
Yes. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the weight of the Fang. Power aside, many of you have raised concerns about how cheap the Fang is. Some players want to see us increase its rarity to help it more accurately reflect its power, because as of now, it is weighted at 7. It's one of the most common. During the first couple of weeks following the raid's release, players felt that we made too many changes simultaneously, and that often the combined effect of individual changes was greater than the sum of its parts. While we're open to altering the Fang's rarity, we want to get a sense for how the price settles following the bug fix outlined earlier in the blog before making any drastic changes. I feel like that's fair.
I think that's fair, but I still think the drop chance is way too high.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea to see how often people want it now.
Yeah.
Before being like, we're making it rare, and then 2 weeks being like, okay, no one wants it, we're making it less rare, and stuff like that.
And also on the mod Q&A, the stream that they had, Mod Kieran said that the reason that they're not nerfing the drop rate just yet is because it's kind of already too late, quote unquote, for the weapon, because there's already so many in circulation and so many people have farmed it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking like there's still this con is going to be relevant in the game for years, so I don't know why you wouldn't nerf it right
There's
now.
plenty of people who don't have it. Robert doesn't have one. I
I
only
mean,
just got one last week.
there's plenty of people that don't have it, and I think the main problem with it, whether this is like other people's main concern, but like my main concern is you can do Tomb of a Mascot with like a rune crossbow and like D-hide,
It'll be hard, but yeah.
which is like if you're gonna like compare it to something else, like you could not do uh like TOB with exceptionally trash gear and then get a rapier. Like maybe you could, only the
Well,
best could,
actually,
but like
it's
I've
easier.
I've
It's the most
seen,
accessible raid.
yeah, I've seen many people go in with like, 3 million GP worth of like trash gear or just void in a few million gear and, get like the best melee weapon in the game.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of crazy that you can go in with so little gear and get the best.
I can see that. All right, so moving on to the untradeable drop rates. The base rates are as followed. The threat of validness is 1 out of 10. All the Chaos Parson jewels are 1 out of 180 for a specific jewel. So that means that the base for any jewel is 1 out of 60. So I got really lucky on getting these jewels.
Yeah.
I've gotten 4 total, and I'm like 40 kills. But 3 of them are the red one before they made it so you can't get dupes, unfortunately. So this does change a little bit, like the more that you do. So for example, at 0 kill count, you have the 1 in 10 chance at getting the lidness. At 15 kill count, that becomes 3 times more likely, and the drop rate goes from 1 to 10 to 3 out of 10, or 1 out of 3.3. Basically, the more you do, the more likely it is that you're going to get these untradeable drops.
Yeah. Kind of like how any drop works.
Yeah. In addition, the partisan jewels are more likely to appear if you already possess one. Remember, as of September 14th, you can't get duplicate jewels until you've obtained all 3, which they need to let us trade in our old ones. I have so many of them. I don't know what to do with them. Anyway, wrapping up here. We know this blog's been a little more technical than usual, but we hope the examples used throughout help illustrate what's going on under the lid of the sarcophagus. Still confused, and we don't blame you. We've teamed up with the OSRS wiki to put together a calculator that will let you experiment with how many different factors at play intersect to determine your total drop rate. So that's really great.
Yeah. So there is like they said, a calculator on the OSRS wiki that'll allow you to put in your appropriate raid level, how many people are in the raid and stuff like that, and it'll give you your average
Estimated drop rate, yeah.
for everything. So you don't have to do all this math. But
Thank God.
essentially, and there's also other people have put in graphs together and stuff like that on the subreddit and stuff like that. So definitely, for everyone's ease of use, essentially just go as high as possible in your raid level that you can complete comfortably. So the difference between like 150 and 300 is very significant. So if you can do 300s like fairly reliably, like if you're failing them like every other one, probably don't do that. But if you can reliably do them, then just do the highest you possibly can.
Yeah, having better drop rates doesn't matter if you don't make it to the end.
Yeah. And a really good example of what I was talking about earlier is obviously this player is one of the best players in the game, but I've seen people
Bunebape?
like no, I've seen people like a cold one or other top players finish 500 level raids, which is one of the highest that you can do with, I think it was 13 million gear.
Jeez.
Like they used Elite Void with like just a couple other items that you can easily buy off the GE on your first day of playing the game, and they finished the 500. So
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Skill's a thing.
Yeah, definitely skill's a thing. So
all right, but that's gonna be it for this. And if they missed it on the recent Q&A, you have a reminder that they're committing to releasing drop rates 2 weeks after content releases in the future. So we have more math to look forward to after everything.
yeah. Also, I don't know. Rereading this kind of awakened like my frustrations of when I first saw this, and it's kind of like weird that they made this so convoluted and annoying, where they have this entire blog which is like several hundreds if not thousands of words, and they couldn't just put together like a really easy example like that. Well, I don't know why they had to make this so convoluted and weird.
I like it in chambers because it's every 8,600 points, you have a 1% chance at a purple. So people are like, okay, around every 860,000 points, you're expected to get purple. I feel
Yeah.
like they could have done something like that.
Or I feel like they could have done all this math and just made it look more succinct and more readable.
Yeah, like we skipped a lot of the very, very mathy parts. We will link this on the YouTube video. If you go and look at it, it's annoying to look at.
Like when this first came out, I was like joking with you that they made it seem like they're trying to confuse the community. Like 'cause
Yeah, you and Wraith were talking about it on stream. You're like, why did they do this?
like they added so many, like when someone says nothing with so many words, I feel like that's what they did with like half of this. Like they could have
Yeah.
just blocked it off and been like, these are the multipliers for the point system, put those in, and then they could have been like, this is how you do the math for 1% chance of drop, added that, and then they could have been like, this is an example of getting a 300 level raid.
They just over-explained it a bit.
Yeah,
I'm an over-explainer, so I get
certainly
it.
did. I mean, that's cool. Maybe they could have added that after the fact, but they should have like broken it down so that the layman can just come in here and check it out and
Yeah.
not feel like a complete idiot.
I agree. But moving on.
Yeah, but moving on, they did make just a couple updates to the combat achievement rewards. So obviously this is stuff that we looked at last week, which was really cool upgrades and buffs to all of the combat achievements that
Is
I
this
think.
reactions to the feedback, I'm guessing?
Yeah, there was just
I haven't read this one.
like there was like literally just a couple things from the feedback that they did change.
Okay.
So the first one was 2 slight tweaks since the updated post yesterday. So this was posted on November. Overall, the post was made on November 1st. And this is going to be the poll question regarding the new rewards has been split up into 2 separate questions. So hopefully both of them don't fail at least. And they've also added, they've changed the elite tier reward for God Wars KC from 32 to 30. So it's slightly even more of a buff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. It's a nice even number. But besides that, there is a little bit of an update that was posted on the 31st before this. So they say last week we released some top level ideas for how we'd like to expand combat achievements, and we've been incredibly pleased with the response so far. Our primary focus was on the potential new rewards, and we also floated the idea of a points-based system. So first up, we've added 2 questions to this news post to be pulled alongside some of the other pieces of content that we can't discuss just yet.
Secrets.
So the key points from the feedback was that you responded very positively to the points-based system. You liked, that's the system where you obviously don't have to do every single combat achievement. You can just do a cumulative point amount to reach a certain tier. So if
You're still going to be doing most of it.
yeah, you're still probably going to be doing most of it. But for example, if you just really can't get Corrupted Gauntlet down, then maybe you can do all the other raid stuff.
Yeah.
And that would still get you to, elite or higher.
This is our assumptions. We don't know.
Yeah, that's
we
just,
don't know how it's going to
that's
work
just an
exactly.
example. So the next one is that you liked the buff to NPC contact, but didn't feel that it should come from combat achievements. I did feel like that was kind of misplaced and weird, but it was kind of nice.
They're making NPC contact faster. I feel like it kind of makes sense for combat achievements because a lot of people do. There's a lot of Slayer bosses in the combat achievements.
Yeah, but you really only kind of use it for Slayer and for repairing your rune pouches, which is kind of weird because I don't really feel like either of those really pertain to combat achievements. Like there's no Slayer task for combat achievements.
But a lot of them you have to be on tasks like Cerberus, Hydra, and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. It just feels like it's like an adjacent reward and not really directly related.
Yeah.
And finally, suggested reward concepts included the ability to summon thralls without the Book of the Dead.
That makes so much sense.
That would be amazing.
That makes so much sense because it's like the drum and staff where you kind of have to carry something around with you everywhere.
Yeah, it sucks bringing around the Book of the Dead.
I forget too. That's why I never use thralls. I always forget the book.
Increased Slayer task block slots.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I like that.
Also, I saw someone on Reddit say that the next set of quests will put you over 300 total quest points. And so they said that should we be able to get another set of blocks for over 300 total points?
Could be cool.
Because I mean, that's how they do it now. So, and finally, the Dragonair Lance cosmetics, to name just a few, because obviously they have the Dragon Hunter crossbow cosmetics.
Yeah, they need to make a King Black Dragon version for the Lance. That'd be so
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
cool.
cool if you can do full black with
I love
Torva.
it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Also, one of the mods did redesign Torva recently, and I think it looked really good.
This is part of the Gam Jam.
Yeah, part of the Gam Jam, not
Which I think we'll
actually in the game.
probably go over next week. We could just find like everyone's tweets and like them and talk about them.
Yeah, maybe we'll go.
This episode's already too long.
They haven't culminated all of the, or they haven't combined rather all of the stuff from the Game Jam or anything like that. So we don't have any of that information for
Yeah,
you.
we'll
just
wait till we
yet.
have the full blog.
I'm sure they'll come out with the blog. But yeah, those are some of the changes that they thought were really cool and that a lot of people said that they liked in the feedback. As an immediate change, we've removed the NPC contact buffs from the list of new rewards as we agree with the sentiment surrounding it. We have instead replaced them with an increase to the number of cannonballs your cannon can hold by 5, 15, and 30
What?
across the medium, hard, and elite tiers,
Oh,
respectively.
that's cool.
Another popular suggestion, which I think is a really good idea.
That's so cool.
It's like a nice reward for doing, some harder content is you can AFK more, which I think is honestly a really good trade-off.
That's smart.
We've considered all your ideas and you've put forward and may or may not have taken notes for potential future content. Regarding the point-based system, the team are right there with you in terms of wanting a change. However, rather than pull something now and leave you in the dark about when we can deliver it, we want to ensure we can commit our time and deliver it with a good time frame. So look forward to a poll in the near future asking about these changes.
Nice. I'm excited.
So overall, this was a very, very positive experience, surprisingly. Obviously, RuneScape can be fairly divisive, but
a lot of people like this.
Yeah, seemingly a lot of people liked the achievements, and on top of that, seemingly the mods liked the feedback. So
that's good. I
yeah,
like this.
kind of like a win-win, which is really rare.
Reminder to myself: hit them up about the rune pouch presets.
Hit them
Let's
up
try
with
to put that on their radar.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We say have so many suggestions in the podcast, and we never make any attempts to tell anyone at RuneScape.
I know, we're like, this is nice, and then it disappears.
We're like, I can't believe that they're not doing this instead. Make no attempt to tell anyone about our idea.
Yeah.
Should actually say stuff. All right, now moving on to the future quest and more poll vlog, which I'm excited about. I like questing. We've got a real treat for you today. Not only do we have a new Twisted Tale for you, we've also got a mysterious new quest that comes with its own repeatable solo boss and a horde of sweet loot for you to plunder. As you know from our poll changes blog that Robert went over earlier, we're taking a new approach to pulling upcoming content. We're being a little more secret about things to make sure all the best bits stay a surprise, but you still get the key info we need to make a decision. So if these look a little different, that is why they are going to be pulling things without telling you everything in the world now.
Yeah. And also, I do have, we'll get through this, and then I do have
And you'll say your concerns.
interesting, weird things to bring up.
Okay, I don't even know what you're going to bring up. I'm excited. So, starting out with the Garden of Death. We're returning to Kryn and Kabos for another Twisted Tale. These short standalone quests are intended to add additional life and character to the continent, which I love because it's such a huge area.
Yes,
we need more
absolutely.
stories here. Next installment in this anthology is the Garden of Death, an intermediate quest created during our first ever Gam Jam. The focus on exploration and discovery, this quest is unique in that it contains no characters, cutscenes, or dialogue, and instead uses an experimental style of gameplay that will see you deciphering a previous unknown language.
That's kind of cool.
I like this. Yeah. So there are some requirements. Spoiler alerts. Skip 30 seconds. You don't have to have any quests done, but you do need 20 farming, and it gives you 1 quest point and 10,000 farming XP.
Ooh, that 10,000 farming XP is actually a big deal.
Yeah, that is. Early on especially, and if you're iron and you're about to get your own seeds.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge thing, like a must-do for early accounts.
Early level farming, yeah. So the question is, would you like to add a new intermediate level Twisted Tale called the Garden of Death? Next up on the docket, hey, they stole our thing.
Yeah.
It's ours.
So we'll be sending you a cease and desist.
Next up on the docket, we're proposing a new master level quest called Redacted. They're not sharing the name of this quest.
Yeah, they, for some reason, got really trigger happy with their spoiler alert black bars here. So if...
I thought they were clickable. They're not.
No, they're hoverable.
Oh, never mind. You can't see.
Yeah, so you can see what all the spoilers are, but you have to highlight everything. So if any of this sounds weird or, kind of
it's because it is
disjointed,
weird.
It's because that's how it was written.
They're trying to be secret.
Yes.
So this quest is obviously so mysterious that the very title is a mystery, and the enigma doesn't stop there. Our story begins with a murder, and there's no shortage of suspects. In fact, you're one of them. To discover the truth, you'll need to form an unlikely alliance to uncover the true killer and discern their motive. It says quest required. Spoiler alert, everyone.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
This is super spoilery. We're all going to know what it means. First one, core blimey mate. Second, what are you doing? Third, in me pockets. Fourth, Volgathic sleeps.
There you go. Yeah, if anyone doesn't get those references, it's just saying that the quest requirements are all of the sayings from when you start pickpocketing a
Master Farmer.
master farmer.
Then Volgathic sleeps, though.
And then Walguthic sleeps.
So the skills required, they need 69 agility, 64 thieving, 56 hunter, and it's recommended to have 85 combat level.
And an interesting thing to note is that these requirements are the highest requirements for skills outside of
What, Song of the Elves?
Song of the Elves.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. So this is going to reward you 2 quest points, 16,000 agility XP, 12,000 thieving XP, 8,000 hunter XP, and a new solo repeatable boss, like Vorkathish. And says, wow, glad we completed the collection log already.
Wow.
What are they adding to the collection log, I wonder?
I don't know.
That was another thing that was redacted. So this poll question number 2 is, would you like to have this new mysterious master level quest? Please vote yes. I like quests. While we're on the subject of quests, we've recently been discussing the XP rewards from Master and Grandmaster quest levels. They're some of the hardest in the game, but they give less XP than if you were to spend the same amount of time just grinding for the relevant skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We want you to tell us how you feel about significantly increasing the XP from these types of quests, a little something to make them more worthwhile, alongside the great stories to tell and the awesome items they offer. Currently, the given XP from Master and Grandmaster quests varies between 10 to 30,000 for each named skill. We'd like to increase that from anywhere between 50 to 100,000 XP. The exact values will depend on the skill in question, the difficulty of the quest, and the quality of the other rewards on offer. If this question passes, the result will apply to the new, and then the redacted says bank standing quest discussed above. We've got a second question, which asks if you'd like us to apply the new rule to the previous quest, the Master and Grandmaster quests. If you've already completed them, we'll look to compensate you by introducing a simple way for you to claim any of the XP you missed out on. So, do you want to see them improve the XP rates that you get from quests? And do you want them to backtrack it and basically we could go and get it?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Just because.
Do you know how many people I talked to about Questcape and they're like, "There's no point in getting it." Where if they had huge XP rates, I think more people would do it.
Yeah, I think that would definitely make or give more incentive because there is only really a few quests that like Song of the Elves, obviously, because you straight up can't go to Prifddinas without it, or Monkey Madness 2.
But some people don't even do those.
Yeah, but I mean they have real incentives to do them already. So I mean that's cool, but like Night at the Theater, there's no point to do Night at the Theater.
The more incentives, the merrier, I say.
Yeah, so exactly. If you got a ton of experience, like 200,000 experience from Night at the Theater, then maybe people would care more about it.
Of course, any boss worth its salt comes with some sweet, sweet loot. We're already considering some more suitable rewards. In accordance with our new polling process, we'll share ideas if the new master level quest and the associated boss pass the poll. We understand this new approach is a little bit different, and we're keeping things more secret than usual, so we'd really like to hear your feedback. We've got big plans for Redacted, says Dungeoneering when. Ooh. And we can't wait to tell you about the ... Editor's note. Maud Errol here. Seems that whoever's writing this news post has disappeared before finishing it. Very strange. I wonder what they were trying to say. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I don't know why they're being so weird about it.
They were murdered.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's cute.
Yeah, so overall it seems pretty cool, I guess.
Super cool. I actually really like that.
Yeah, so one interesting idea that someone had was for what they think the boss is going to be.
It's going to be like very Varrock. Or not Varrock, what? Vorkath-esque, I think.
Maybe. I liked their idea, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up, but they thought that a really good option for the new quest would be a continuation of the Knight's quest or the Sea Slug quest line.
Oh, I
because
like that.
Those things, they have mind control abilities, which kind of maybe adds to the mystery, and they seem like a pretty good boss.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
I like this.
I thought that was a pretty good idea as well.
That's very cool.
Also, another person on Reddit kind of brought up a good idea, or not a good idea, but a good point that I wanted to ask you about it because I thought it was interesting. But they said why would you pull this quest? Because one, everyone's gonna say yes. I don't think quests ever really fail. And two, it's like we know so little about the quest and about the boss that it kind of they should have asked in a different way. They should have just been like, "Do you want a new master level quest?"
I kind of like the way they did it, actually.
You did?
Yeah, because I don't think if people vote yes, there should be. Like, it's not going to like they're going to be able to make whatever changes there need to be. I think the way that they did it was pretty well.
Yeah, I kind of just don't really see the reason why they even pulled it. Like, I feel like they should just like not really even pull quests.
But then also in RuneScape 3, I've heard some of the quests get weird and you like kill gods and stuff. So that may be something that they try to pull in the way, way future that we'll have to be like, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Because I was saying, like, just in all the quests over from RuneScape 3, and some people were like, no, some of those quests are really weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I am not the biggest fan of the way they did like the weird redacting thing.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. It was I
To
guess
each their own.
yeah, different strokes. So yeah, that's about it though. We can move on to the last poll blog, and this is the one that just came out today on November 3rd. And this one's for the wilderness.
Wilderness
the,
Boss B work.
The wilderness.
A very Bunebape way of saying
the Wilderness Boss rework, or the Revenant Weapons poll blog. So this one is luckily not going to be too long, but it does cover a few things from the last poll blog. Of course, this is in reference to the most recent Wilderness Boss rework poll blog, where they did talk about all the bosses and all the weapons and all that stuff. So this is focusing mainly on questions 10 and 11 from the poll blog, covering some of the ways that you can deliver on getting your new weapons.
Cool.
So they've chosen a few of the most popular outcomes to expand on in this blog. So number one is going to be the Revenant's Slayer task. Let's start with the most popular choice, increasing the drop rates of Revenant weapons while on a Revenant Wilderness Slayer task.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
For anyone that doesn't know, the drop chance of getting a weapon from the Revenants is incredibly low. It is, without being scolded, over 100,000, or 1 out of 100,000 for quite a few of the enemies. So it is very, very rare. Typically, this task only drop rate increase has been a 5 times multiplier. At the time of writing, the combined prices of Revenant weapons account for a little over 1.5% of the drop value of Revenants, because they do have a lot of other high value drops. With this in mind, we're confident that offering the same on-task drop rate increase here won't balloon their profitability and incentivize player to only kill Revenants on task. So, poll question number 1. Should Crossbow, Vigor's Chainmace, and Thermron Scepter be dropped 5 times more frequently by Revenants when on a task?
Yeah, I think that in general, the having stuff drop better whenever you're on task makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So this other question, so that was poll question number 1. The second one is entirely different question. It says that the second most popular option was a straight up drop rate increase above 20%. For some additional context here, the first iteration of the Wilderness Boss rework offered a question around increasing the drop rates of Revenant's weapons by 5, 10, 15, and 20%. Many players voiced that even a 20% increase would not be enough of a drop rate increase. So they'll offer a variety of percentages, and the highest one will win, essentially. So they have a drop table. If you wanted to see it, you should go check out the blog yourself.
But yeah, we're not going to go over this whole drop table. It's a lot.
I will give some examples.
Yeah.
So the drop table shows the drop rate of any specific Revenant weapon from any specific Revenant NPC. So, of course, the drop rate for killing a dragon is not going to be the same as an imp. Very different. But a really good example is they do have the rates for Scold and Unscold as well. So, for instance, if you are killing a imp and you are not Scold, the current chance of getting a Revenant weapon is 1 out of 220,000.
Ew.
That's quite a few imps.
Yeah, just a couple.
But with the new proposed plus 50% drop rate increase, it would be 1 out of 146,000. So that is around an 80,000 increase, I think it is.
Jeez.
So yeah, quite a bit easier. If you are on task and Scold, it goes from 146,000 to 16,000. So much more
Way
manageable.
better.
But obviously you have to be Scold and you have to be on task.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the drop rates do go up much higher if you are killing a dragon or Maledictus, all the way up to 1 out of 2,900 if you, again,
That is the best drop rate of all.
are scold and are on task. So, much more manageable than, 100,000 or 200,000 even.
Agreed.
So that's going to be about that for that option. And for the third and final option, it's another popular option was for the reworked wilderness bosses to have a chance at dropping their respective revenant weapons themselves at a more common rate than the new attachment. We've given this some thought, and they have a slightly more elegant solution than popping the weapons onto their respective drop tables. So they don't want to just add crossbow to the new Venenatis.
Do it.
They want to add a new revenant, quote unquote, table for the reworked bosses. This would work similar to how Corporeal Beast's sigil table works. Upon killing a boss, the player would have a chance to roll onto this table, and then on that table, they have the weapon attachment as well as the other base weapons as well.
So it kind of like rolls twice to get it.
Exactly. So if that sounds confusing, they have a pretty easy to read graph here, or not graph, but it's just a table. So essentially, if you are killing the new Venenatis, you would have a decently high chance, once you rolled onto this table, to get the crossbow or the new Fang of Venenatis that would obviously upgrade the bow. That being said, you still have a chance, once on this table, to get the Vigor's Chainmace, as well as the Thammaron's Scepter, but at a 4 times lower drop rate. So you could technically kill Venenatis and get all 3 weapons, but it would just take you quite some time.
Yeah, it's kind of, the way it's going to work is kind of like the Abyssal Sire, where there's a certain drop rate to get the Unsired, and then once you get the Unsired, it's a drop rate to get whatever you get from the Unsired.
Yeah, exactly. This works exactly how like the rare drop table works at any mob, essentially.
Yeah,
where you
that one's more like you see it happening.
Yes, precisely. And so that leads us to our poll questions. So,
our next poll questions.
Yeah. For a quick review, poll question number 1 is, should they make the drop rate for all of the weapons 5 times more frequently while on a Revenant Slayer task? So that's an entirely separate question. Question number 2 is, which of these methods would you like to see as a way to make Revenant weapons more obtainable? The highest voted option will win. Increase the base drop rate of Revenant weapons by an amount determined by the outcome of poll question number 3.
Which we haven't said yet.
And this would stack with the proposed question number 1, which makes it a higher chance while on task.
Okay.
And they continue to say that it would include a Revenant table on the reworked Wilderness boss when rolling for drops. If a player rolls onto this Revenant table, they'd have an equal chance at receiving the new weapon attachment or its associated base weapon, and a lower chance of receiving a different base weapon. So this is kind of what we just went over.
Longest question in the world.
Yeah. And then a connected question to that is, if the base drop rates of the Revenant weapons were improved, how much would you want to see them improved by? From 20 to 50%.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is going to be it. Essentially, it's just saying, which way would you want to get more Revenant weapons? So It seems like you're getting more Revenant weapons regardless, just in which way would you like to receive them?
And by how much percentage would you like to see it improved by?
Yeah. So unfortunately, there was a ton of questions this week, or poll blogs this week, with numbers. So if any of this confused you, I understand, and you can go check out the polls for yourself. You can check out the news blogs, or you can just just see what happens in the future.
Yeah, that's like low key what I want to do.
Yeah. But that is going to be about it. I don't have too much else to go over, except one additional thing that kind of piggybacks off of this that I saw on Reddit, that even Mod Goblin did say was a good idea, was that we could poll to have an unlock to extend Revenant tasks. It's one of the lowest weighted tasks already, so it doesn't feel like it'd be too overpowered.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and Mod Goblin also thought it was a good suggestion, so maybe we'll see that in the future.
And you have to use Slayer points anyway.
Yeah. So that's going to be about it for all the poll blogs about it. I mean, there was like 5 of them, so there was a lot to go over. But luckily,
an hour of it. This episode's going to be out late.
Yeah. Luckily, because there was no update this week, so it's good that there was something else to talk about.
Even more than we normally talk about the updates even.
Yeah.
All right, but moving on to our Q&A. Our first question is going to be from King Canadia on Twitch. If you and Rob had to make a special appearance in any gaming franchise, what would it be?
What's yours?
Animal Crossing.
Oh, obviously.
So I don't know if you meant like an NPC that would be me, or if I'm like inside of this game. But Animal Crossing wins either way.
I figured NPC.
NPC, I'd want a cute little animal. A cute little animal neighbor in it to be named like Boone or something.
Why wouldn't you rather just be like one of the Nook's homies that like set up shop on the island? Because then you could always be there.
I could always be there, but I was gonna say I want to be a capybara.
I mean, you could.
I could. Okay, yeah, maybe I'd do that. I don't know what I would sell.
If you're just like a regular NPC, then you'll just like hop on the island and then leave whenever you get there. They get your picture.
I'd want it to... My methods. Maybe I'd want to be like one of the special NPCs that come up like once a week, though.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't
Like
think I'd want a store.
Maybe you'd have an event where you'd come and bring all your capybara homies to get washed or something.
That'd be cute. I'd like that.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for expanding on it. Yeah, I'd want to be an NPC in Animal Crossing for sure.
Oh,
what about you?
Mine's pretty easy. It would probably be the Metal Gear series because I think the Metal Gear series has some of the best and most interesting stories out of any game I've ever played, and they're really cool games.
What would you want to be in it? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I mean,
that wasn't the question. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know you don't know, but there's like a lot of like cyborgs and like modified humans in that game, and I've always been a fan of that idea. So yeah, maybe one of them.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, there's like one of the most popular characters. His name is Raiden, and he's like this. He used to be a regular ninja essentially, and then he like got messed up so much that they had to turn him into like this cyborg ninja. And so obviously he's really cool.
So you don't be like that?
Not exactly, but
Rob the cyborg ninja.
Yeah, I don't know. He is really cool.
Our next question is from Matt on Instagram. It's time for new decor options. What decor would you like to see? When I say decor, I mean the house designs like whitewashed stone, firmnick wood, tropical wood, etc. They'd most want Tazar decor, so like a lava-themed area, a garden with a lava fountain, which I love, a Tazar servant, etc. They have some like obsidian stuff, but the lava fountain just sounds dope.
Yeah.
I want to say like I'd want it like gnome-ish. I don't know if there's any options like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't ever change my house, so I don't know what they have already. But I'd want it to be like very gnomish, and I'd want there'd be more options to like put flowers all around and stuff. Just very like cute and pretty, basically. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and like maybe the upstairs like the staircase and stuff to go up would change into like a ladder, like the tree houses, how it is in the gnome stronghold area.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I think I have like two that I thought of, actually kind of just right now. But I think one of the options, my second option is the one I'd actually want. But one of the options would be like kind of cool if it was like the Abyss.
Ooh.
So that'd be kind of cool because it's like, one of the darker themes. That's kind of cool. And in the complete opposite direction, which was like my original thought, was going to be specifically a Poro Poro.
Whoa, theme. Yeah, cute.
So I think it'd be cool to have it look like all the walls were like hedges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like the stairs, and it could also be magical, like the fountain would like be shooting out fairy dust.
That'd be really cute.
And then the stairs would be like floating.
Oh wow, I'd really like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Two very different things.
Very different things.
Our last question is going to be from Harger over on Discord. What is your opinion on an endgame gift card? You can buy another player gift cards to an NPC store, such as Jarrent's Fishy Business, I don't even say his name, Jiminwa's Jungle Store, etc. Gift cards available to be traded only once. I don't know how popular this would be, but I think it would be a cute little giveaway thing during stream. To be like, you just won a gift card to this little store.
Yeah, I think it would be interestingly niche. But
kind of cute.
Really see it being used other than like very infrequently or for like a random like exploit that I don't know about.
People find a way to exploit everything in this game.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting idea. I think it's like speedrunning, just no one would use it.
Yeah, or it would get used, very niche, but
yeah,
I think it's cute, and I don't see if there'd be any downside really to adding that.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it wouldn't be tradable. You just go to the general store and buy it.
It's really not any different than just giving someone gold.
Yeah. But I wonder if you could give it to Irons.
No,
That would be
that
defeat
would
the purpose,
that
actually.
would suck. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, that's it for Q&A. I also wanted to tell you guys, I totally forgot that I am looking into making merch. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. The main thing I've been looking into is like hats and beanies, and unfortunately, all of our emotes are too colorful to be able to totally see them. So we're gonna try and figure it out and see what else we could put on it. Yeah, let me know what you guys would actually genuinely want, like hoodies, shirts, hats, etc., etc. And if you want to reach out to us, you can. I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. Our Twitter is Bunebapeosrs, and our Instagram and YouTube are both just Bunebape. Let us know any questions you have, any merch suggestions you have. Just say hello to us, basically.
come
I
hang
accidentally
out.
turned this into an outro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the outro, so hopefully you all enjoyed it.
Yep.
And yeah, again, make sure to come stop by any of
Mhm.
our socials or check into the Discord. We have giveaways and just, cool people to hang out with all the time. So
Oh, I'm also doing a sponsorship with War Thunder right now. So join within the next 3 days of this episode coming out, and you can play a game with me if you want.
yeah, War Thunder is a World War II battle sim type of game. So you can play as a tank, a boat, or a plane, and it's actually pretty fun.
It is pretty fun. I like it. I'm gonna play tomorrow night stream a little
Yeah.
bit.
So yeah, thanks for joining.
Thank
Hopefully you all enjoyed
you.
it, and we'll see you all.
Very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.